Hi, my name is Heather, and today I'm going to show you how to design and create your own pop-up card using the Cricut, where you can put anything you want in the pop-up area. The first step to creating your pop-up card would be to grab the template that I have. And this just makes it easier so you don't have to do all of the score lines and cutting and all that, because it's pretty much the same for all of the cards for if you're making like a basic card. So just use the link that I have in the description of this video, and it's going to pull up this little screen here where you just have to click open. And then it's going to open Cricut Design Space, and it's going to go to my template here, blank customizable pop-up card template. Go ahead and click customize. And then this will be your project here. First, you can click save as and just give it a new name. I'll do birthday card. First, let's look at the card and I'll show you the basic elements. So we have the backing of the card, which is this blue part. So you'll have two pieces. One is the blue part, which is going to be the back, and it's going to kind of show through the cuts of your image. And then the orange part would be the inside of the card. So when you fold the card, the outside would be blue and the inside would be orange. Of course, you can use any color cardstock you want, but just using these colors as an example. And we have this little flap here and this little flap here, and these are what you're going to weld your image to, these two orange flaps, the top and the bottom. So you're going to want to make sure that whatever image you put in here connects to both of those. And then the thickness of the orange, or the height of the little orange strip, is going to be how far out that the pop-up element is going to stick out from the card. So you could always change that if you wanted it to be longer, for it to, stick out more. But, this is just to kind of get you started, and then you can always make any changes you want later. And then these little dash lines are just the score lines. So this is where the card's going to fold in half. And then the little orange flap is going to be able to fold up. And then this little part here is going to fold. So now we can put in our images. So there's a couple different places that I like to go for images. So there's lovesvg.com, and I think they have a lot of really cute free SVGs. Or you can also just get the free ones from Cricut. Or you might have a paid Design Space account where you can download all kinds of stuff, but I don't have that. So I'm going to go to images, and then I'll search for ice cream free. And then here are some free images of ice cream. And you do have to look, because sometimes it'll come up and you do have to pay for it, like these ones. But at least most of them are free. So I'm going to pick a few little ice creams here that I like. Okay, these ones are good. And one thing I want to mention is that you will have to pick images that are connected all the way. So for example, if I were to pick this one, these pieces are just going to fall out because they're not connected in any way. So you just want to make sure you pick ones where everything is connected, or you could always, use shapes and weld them together to make everything connected. But if you want it to be like easy, then, just pick ones that are already connected. And then I'm going to click insert images. And I have these here. I'm just going to click away so that I don't have all of them selected. And then I can just go and arrange them however I want. And you want it to overlap at least just a little bit over the orange, but don't overlap it a lot, because that part's going to be lost. It's all going to weld together. So you just want it to overlap a little bit like this. And then we can just kind of arrange them however we want. And you see how it's touching the top and the bottom. But then this one, I don't really necessarily need to touch the top because it is connected to this other ice cream. So, you know, you can kind of use your own discretion of whether it needs to be connected on the top, as long as there's some part connected to the top, and then these are going to be welded. So we have something connected to the top and bottom. And then I'm going to make sure that I don't overlap this way on the left, because if I were to do that, then it's going to cut into the orange part of the card, and it's not really going to make sense. So I'm going to keep this inside here, and I'll just connect it like that. And then I'm going to grab this last guy and put him here. And I just want to make sure that I don't just connect it like this a little bit, because that little itty bit is probably just going to tear off, you know. So we want it to be at least, you know, a little bit thick down there. So that's probably good. And then now we can weld those with the orange part of the card with the top and bottom. So I'm going to grab these three and these guys. So I'm pressing Command or Control on a PC, Command on a Mac, so that I can select these three and select these orange flaps all together. And then I'm going to weld them. And then the next step will be to just select the design that we already did, and then we're going to select the big orange square, and then we'll weld all those together. I like to do it like this separately. It just makes it easier for me to work on the design with just the two little flaps, and then in the end I just weld it all together. And then the next thing is you can actually put like a cute little greeting in here and have it cut out of the orange, and that way the blue will show through. So I like to do that, and I'm going to click text, and I'll write some kind of text. Oh, how about have a cool birthday, because ice cream is cool. All right, and then I'm just gonna do some formatting here. So I'll center it and make it a bit smaller, and then maybe change the line spacing a bit. And I think I want to change the font too. I always like to click on System so that it's all of the fonts that are in my computer, so I'm not paying for the Cricut fonts. And I like this font. It's called Almond Nougat. I think I got it maybe from Creative Market or Creative Fabrica. And then I'll just change the letter spacing a bit. And then now I'm just going to cut this out of the orange. So I'm going to grab the text and grab the orange and slice. And then now I'm going to grab the text layer here and delete it, and the cut out text and delete it. So you will have the holes cut out here of the letters. So you can either like keep those and glue them back in, or another thing you could do is zoom in and then just add a little shape to connect them. So I just clicked shapes and square, and then I'll click the little lock so it can be a rectangle, and I'll make it really small. And then I'm just going to connect here. And then I can grab this and press shift and grab the big orange piece, and you can see over here they're both selected. And then I'm going to weld. And it changed the color because the rectangle was gray, but that's okay. I'll just select it and change it back to orange. So you can do that, or you can just take the little pieces and glue them in if there's not like a ton of them. And the last thing is that we just need our score lines to be connected. So this is always done at the very end. So first I'm going to pull my orange underneath the score lines. And now these score lines are all for the orange. The only score line for the blue is the one that helps the card fold in half, and that one's already attached. So these ones are all for the orange one. And so this you want to wait until you're all done with the design. And then I'm just going to grab this group. I'm going to press Command and grab the big orange design. And I'm going to click Attach. So now all those score lines are attached to the orange, so they'll cut in the right place. And make sure you use your scoring tool for this. You're going to want your score tool in the A slot and then the blade in the B. So then when you're all ready, you can click Make It. And then here we have the inside of the card, and then here we have the outside of the card. And as you can see, we'll need paper that's about, like, I would do like 6.5 by 8.5, or you can just, use 8.5 by 11 piece. I'll make sure the first one's selected, and I click Continue. And I set the material to cardstock, and then I have my scoring stylus in clamp A and my fine point blade in B. So then I'll just pick out my cardstock and run them through. So now I'm just going to weed this. I'm just going to very carefully roll this off. And you can see our nice score lines here. We have one right here where the card's going to fold in half, and then one up here to pop out our image. And I'm going to keep the insides of the letters. So you can see how the A stayed there because we added that one shape. And then the other insides of the letters are on here, so I'll just pull them out. Here's the blue sheet, which will be the outside of the card. And as you can see, it's very simple. It's just folds in the middle here. It has this little score line. So this guy, I will go ahead and fold him on his score lines. So first let's do the middle one, but you want to make sure you don't accidentally fold your image. So we're going to kind of push it in like that. And then this top flap is going to fold in. And fold up like that. Okay, so there's our little pop-up. And then we just need to glue it into this part of the card. And I would normally use glue stick for it, but I ran out, so I will be using Elmer's glue. So I'm going to flip this guy upside down, and I'll just glue along the edges. Don't want to do too thick because we don't want it to bubble up. And then I also like to go along any of like the inside edges. So don't do your image because that's supposed to pop out, but you can do the parts that are going to be glued down. So right around this frame here, not the flap. We can do right along here, and then right along that inside edge. And then maybe just a little bit around the letters. That should be good. So now I'm going to put this fold in the same place as the blue fold. And just try to center it nice, so that you have even margin around it. I'm just going to press it down really good. And then if you have any little extra pieces you want to glue in, like I'll fill in these letter holes here. And there we go, we have our little pop-up card. And you want to just make sure it closes right, like this, where the flap folds up. And then when you open it, you have a little pop-up surprise. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have fun designing your own pop-up card. I can't wait to see what you make. You can always email me at heather@heathercashart.com if you have any questions, or if you want to send me pictures of what you made. Thanks for joining me. Have fun. Bye.